Hi, I am Nin. Before I start this video, disclaimer, I do not know how to draw and I do not have a whiteboard nor a sketch pad, so this will do. Allow me to tell you a story about my dad. On September 30, 1967, my grandparents Tatay Ramon Igaña Sr. and Nanay Carmen Fulacha Pil gave birth to their fifth child, Ramon Pil Igaña Jr. Daddy Rami grew up to be a very loving son. Coming from a family of musicians, his love for music was not a surprise. Although he was the crush ng bayan, he was a man of few words. As his friends would say, one would know he was around, but one could hardly hear him speak. My dad was very much into sports. Even in his 20s, he loved to bike, whether on his mountain bike or his road bike. He was quite adventurous too, and always hung out with friends. At 22, he met the love of his life, humility, the woman who had a positive influence on his outlook and priorities in life. After 6.5 years of being in a relationship, they got married and were blessed with a beautiful daughter, me. Coming from big families, Daddy and Mommy hoped for more children, but were more than grateful for having only me. When I was growing up, Daddy worked in the hotel industry for 3 years, after which he got employed by an airline company. Our little family loved traveling and enjoyed going on adventures and visiting new places. Daddy was always present in all the small and big events of my life. When I was around 6 or 7, he bought me a mini version of his mountain bike, and we would go biking wherever the wind would take us. In grade 6, he accompanied me when I watched Monte Carlo with my friends, because Mommy was so strict that she wouldn't allow me to watch a movie without an adult. I always looked forward to his salary day because it meant we would indulge in our favorite pastime, eating batchoy. He was very supportive of everything I thought of doing. Just like when he helped me chase my celebrity crush at the airport. When I was sad or disappointed, he would always cheer me up with his warm hugs and simple words of motivation. Whenever we argued about something, Daddy was always the first one to say sorry. I got my love for dogs from my dad, as well as my interest in photography. Mommy and I would always be the subjects of his portraits, but I would always be sapot because I hated being in pictures back then. But look at me now, lol. Daddy and Mommy shared the same passion for running, and they would force me to join them, but nah, my legs were either too weak to run or too tired after ballet. In 2011, it was announced that the Ironman Triathlon was going to be held in Cebu for the first time. My parents eagerly registered themselves in the relay category, together with a friend, with Daddy as the cyclist and Mommy as the runner. They trained hard and prepared themselves for many months, and had the necessary tests done prior to the competition. They were in perfect shape when they participated in the 42 km marathon in Singapore last June 2012. The Ironman Triathlon was on August 5, 2012. The night before the race, my parents were very happy and excited. I will never forget the moment before I slept. Daddy asked me to pose for a picture and then kissed me goodnight. When I woke up the following morning, Daddy and Mommy had already left, so my aunt and I later followed them in Shangri-La. I did not get to see my dad before he left for the bike leg because there were too many people, but I remember seeing Piola Pascual though. As hours had passed, I saw Mommy waiting anxiously at the transition tent since there was no sign of Daddy yet. I already had a very weird and disturbing feeling, and then I saw a huge butterfly pass in front of me and disappeared suddenly. Fast forward to the time when Mommy and I were asked to ride an ambulance that would bring us to the hospital. During that rite, we prayed so hard, and I felt like that was actually the first time I meant my prayers while praying the rosary. I begged the Lord to let my dad live. When we arrived at the hospital, my heart sank when I saw my daddy Rami lifeless on the ER bed. I was only 15 years old back then. How could I live without my dad? But as my mom led me toward my dad, she told me, "Nin, look at daddy. He is happy smiling." Right there and then, I realized that my dad died happy, doing what he loved doing best, biking. And because of that smile, I accepted God's will, knowing that heaven had gained another angel. "Thy will be done." That is what my mom would tell me. "Why do we pray the Our Father if we don't mean the words we say?" she added. "We may not know God's reason, but we have to trust Him." I heard my mom pray loudly in front of Daddy's lifeless body. "Lord, thank you for sharing Daddy Rami with us. Those were wonderful years. This is a borrowed life." 8 years have passed since my daddy passed away, but his memory lives on. People say that time heals all wounds, but it seems as though time just provided me with a band-aid that would fall off after some time. Dad, I sit up at night and wish that you were still here. I still talk to you and ask for advice. I remember the things you said, but it has been so long that your voice has faded from my memory. I miss you all the time. I miss you so much that my heart hurts. But I find comfort in the thought that you are in a better place. I know that you are watching over me and keeping guard of me. I can only hope that I make you proud and that I have become what you imagined me to be. I can only hope that you are smiling at me from heaven and not shaking your head in disappointment. I won't hope that you'd miss me as much as I miss you, because missing you is painful. Missing someone is too painful for heaven to allow inside its gates. It's too painful for me to wish on anyone, especially you. And so life goes on. I was blessed to have spent 15 wonderful years with my dad. It is my hope that you will cherish the time you have now with your loved ones. Show them how much you appreciate them and value them before it's too late to let them know. Happy Father's Day, Dad. I love you and I miss you dearly.